Hi everyone and welcome to today's morning report on Wednesday the 12th of April with me, Rich Power Market Analyst at Hantec Markets. We've got a really interesting market open actually today because we've had a strong rebound on equities. This came as Wall Street sort of closed basically flat on the day. Now there was a big sort of move on Wall Street yesterday, initially to the downside, and that came as volatility sharply higher. S&P 500 and the Dow were both strongly off early doors, but bounced into the close. The move initially came on the sort of threat really from North Korea that they were going to possibly do a nuclear attack. I shouldn't laugh, but really do a nuclear attack on the US. Now the safe haven trades all got a boost off the back of that, but equities sort of bounced into the close, and that sort of has continued today with European equities higher. But is this sort of the beginning or the end of the bounce, really, is the question, because it's very interesting because we've seen some significant breakdowns across these safe haven or breaks across these safe haven plays. US 10-year Treasury yield breaking back below 2.3% again. You've also seen you've also seen the yen breaking below 110 big figure, and also gold price breaking out to sort of multi-month highs as well. So I'll talk you through all those charts in a bit, but certainly this is an interesting move we've got. Also, we've seen the risk appetite seems to sort of be sort of coming out of the year. French OATs as well, because or the OAT, sorry, the with the spread between German and French 10 years widening once more as the election takes on a little sort of more uncertainty, given the improvement that Mélenchon has taken on in recent polls. So some really interesting moves that we are seeing in markets, but the forex majors are sort of relatively settled today. You've got the dollar, which has stabilised to a certain extent. The yen is actually unwinding slightly, not really to the extent at which it would be a significant bull turnaround on the dollar yen, but certainly there has been an improvement. So what have we got to look forward to today? Well, we've just had out the UK employment data, whereby the unemployment for the UK sort of stayed at 4.7%. The claimant count rose slightly by 25,000, but the interesting factor would come with these average weekly earnings, with the ex-bonus weekly earnings improving, better than expected, better than 2.1 that had been expected, but it's still down from 2.4% to 2.2%. Now this 2.2% is interesting because that means that the UK is now seeing negative real wage growth again, with the CPI at 2.3%. So that's going to have an impact presumably going forward, with certainly on consumers as well. So watch out for that. But other than that, we've got the Bank of Canada this afternoon at 3 o'clock. No expectation of a change of rates, 0.5%, although we've had some slightly improved economic data out of Canada recently. It'll be interesting to see the message that the Bank of Canada sort of gives out. You've got the oil inventories from the EIA. Now that always creates a bit of volatility on the oil price. That's at 330. That's expected to show 0.75 million barrels of oil inventories build, but it has been noticeable that the inventories are sort of certainly becoming less strong in terms of the build in recent weeks, and then given the fact that demand trends are improving and also these supply shocks potentially in the Middle East are happening, you've got the oil price which is rising at the moment. So volatility this afternoon on the back of that. Now my chart today is the DAX, and we have had an amazing turnaround on the DAX. Sort of the intraday rally that we saw into the close continued early morning today, but again, is this, I sort of said this earlier, that is the rally again just unable to gain the traction, failing at 12,242 on the cash. 12,246 is the resistance of that lower high that we saw on Monday. Can the market sustain a turnaround? Interesting. 12,156 was that breakout level. That is a basis of support again. Actually, almost pretty much today, that is the basis of support. So that needs to hold as well. So if you start to see another close below that level of support, that would sort of put pressure back on, and perhaps see this uptrend tested once again. The uptrend sort of came in as a basis of support yesterday and held, but will it continue to hold? Because you've got these momentum indicators which are still near-term corrective, and that suggests that these sort of sequence of lower highs could continue near-term. I still think this is going to be a buy into dips ultimately. However, I'm not sort of ruling out further sort of fall to the downside, because the earlier gains that we've seen on the DAX have started to sort of unwind as we've sort of seen the European session develop. Here we see that intraday sell-off yesterday, the bounce, strong bounce which continued today, but again falling over. Now you've got the hourly MACD lines and hourly RSI still correctively configured. So RSI underneath the mid-50s, hourly MACD lines underneath neutral. So is this a rally that is going to continue? It's sort of struggling at the moment, and still a fairly mixed outlook on the DAX. So a very interesting move that we've seen this morning. So I wish you good luck in your trading today, and I will speak to you later. Thank you.